Where the hell am I?
Oh, you're locked in a room. No need for those other bitches.
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean your friends.
Dan, Ben, and Jeffrey? What happened to them?
Oh, that's irrelevant now, but look, it's just you and me. Just the two of us. You don't need anyone except me. We'll be here forever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever.
Oh boy, this really reminds me of Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh really? Does it involve other I mean, it sounds lovely. Seeing as we have forever to the 5th power, let's get to talking about it. Oh, I just can't wait to spend forever with you.
Whatever. Okay, so I know what you're wondering. How is Doki Doki bad? Doki Doki's great! It's a very spooky game! Well, I mean, the game's alright, I guess, but what I find interesting is the aura that's around the game, the elements that people like about this game, things that have been brought up in discussion about this game. Honestly, this game is like Five Nights at Freddy's, where the discussions that have been had about this game, the genre, the fan theories, are a lot more interesting than the game itself. Alright, Doki Doki, it's a game, there's cute anime girls, they do stuff, you put chocolate in their mouth at one point. Oh yeah, here, you like that? Why don't you take this? Anyway, because of the nature of these horror games that either popularize the genre of the game significantly, or subvert their respective genre, this game has blown up recently, and it's gained this cult following. Now the game is being praised for creeping you out, being a beautiful masterpiece, but it only really works when you're not expecting it. If you go in blind, you're either going to be bored as hell because of how slow the game's pacing is, or you're going to get really fucked up because you were actually engaged in the story, and for me, I'm kind of a mixture of the two, you know? I watched Etika play it on the stream, and just like him, I had no prior knowledge, no prior research, and as a result, when it pretty much fucked me up. He even made a video about how it gave him nightmares, and while it hasn't gotten to me that much, it still unsettles me. Yeah, okay, you do that, buddy. The game does a really good job at hooking you. But on its own, I can see why many call this game boring or uninteresting or say they couldn't make it through the first hour. But I think that this is intentional. It's purposely generic and bland for the sake of parroting the genre as a whole, like a certain other game. However, that doesn't excuse it because it is purposely being boring and generic, and the self-aware comedy doesn't come in until like the 3rd act, so you'll likely lose interest if this isn't really your thing. The only character that develops in a significant way is Monica, who at the beginning seems like a chill, totally fuckable anime girl, but then becomes Jesus Christ himself. It doesn't say much at the beginning, and to be quite honest, it is kinda boring. Characters are given basic backstories, basic motives for why they decide to come back to this hell day after day. But then again, this happens in other visual novels, so I can see what they were doing. But since they're making fun of this kind of genre, they might as well go all out with the ridiculousness of the characters, or acknowledge this issue and fully flesh them out. Personally, I was watching someone whose job it was to be entertaining play it, so I wasn't really bored, but still. And yeah, you know the rest. Spooks happen, and then the internet catches on to this and they're like, oh my god! What a fucking... Yeah, I've pretty much been avoiding it, but this game is very similar to Undertale and or FNAF. The fucked up backstory, the fourth wall breaks, the uneasiness that grows heavier and heavier the more you play. But you know, they're not very comparable. All 3 of these games are in completely different genres. FNAF relies on simple jump scares, the simple backstory, a simple setup, you're just kind of left there. Undertale has a simple story, a simple setup, you're just a kid walking around saving the world, very original guys. But all of these games do these things differently. In Five Nights, you know what the end point is gonna be. You know what's gonna happen, those fucking bears are gonna creep up on you. But it's about avoiding it, it's about trying to do your best from getting this end screen. This reliance on jump scares as a punishment rather than a scare makes the entire game tiring to play through. It's just exhausting managing your energy shit. Like, do they not have a working generator? Come on guys, you have giant animatronics that are both self-aware and dangerous, and as a result they lurk around. You can't even keep your fucking doors powered? Sell those motherfuckers! But anyway, like I was saying, this game gets exhausting. Playing it is more of a chore than a game. But it got popular because all these people were talking about it. They were talking about the vague backstory, they were talking about the fucked up imagery, and that's what's fun about it. The same goes for Doki Doki. Playing it yourself, knowing what's gonna happen, is fucking boring. Once the scares are gone, there isn't much else other than how you feel afterwards, and maybe that's the point of horror. But that's the issue with shock value in itself. When the only horror is waiting for a loud noise and a disturbing image, well, it's just exploiting human nature. Of course you're gonna piss yourself when you hear a loud noise following something that you didn't expect. But like FNAF, it's fun to theorize about it. Fun to make 18-minute long videos about why Yuri killed everyone. Okay, no, go to hell. What Doki Doki does is actually comment on this. Monica's just so self-aware, I love it. Just look at her, she's beautiful. It does this better than FNAF, and I'm not biased, well, I am. But Doki Doki does a lot more to scare the player. It does simple things, reversing the music, speeding it up, pitch shifting it. These all give off feelings of unease without even having to show you anything. These things are so effective. It changes the text at times, which both makes sense in the context of Monica manipulating what the characters are saying and gives you more of that feeling of unease. It glitches the characters, the text, gives off a feeling of mystery. If you hear a song backwards, if you see a random string of text, if you see a corrupted character slide, you're going to be uneasy because you don't understand it. And we are very reactionary and very impulsive when we're put in new situations, and it eats off your primal instincts. Other than just, scary, it's death, scarier, it's the fan base! Yeah, speaking of scary, let's talk about the dead Sayori in the room. The fan base. The fan base. It's a piece of art, really. I didn't know the same people obsessing over dead girls could get offended by someone saying a word that in context is completely fine. Look, I know people are gonna get offended by certain things. Not everyone is a 15-year-old boy, but still. And I didn't think that I'd have to do this soon, but we're delving into the realms of Discord. Because the people who like anything popular can't be rational people, we get shit like polls asking whose dab is better. And I'm not trying to paint the entire fan base as gay or something. That'd be pretty hypocritical. But like in any fan base, there are those people. Tumblr people. People who get offended by someone making a gay joke or an autism joke. I'll just share one story from this Discord because we'd be here all day if I was talking about how these people suck ass. Okay, so, person A, they say a word that I'm not allowed to say or I'll get restricted. And then the creepy dude roleplaying as a 16-year-old girl is like, "Be gone! Fuck!" And everyone attacks him. Later, there's a conversation about whether or not it's okay to say it with an A or a hard R, and I'm not touching that with a 20-foot pole. And at one point, someone makes a gay joke or an autism joke or something, I don't even know. And apparently it's the same fucking person. And everyone's like, hey, enough is enough. Having a dark sense of humor? That's too far. And well, he got the banhammer. But what makes this beautiful is the fact that he never even said anything. People just assumed he was homophobic and decided to censor him. Really, I'm baffled at how these people can be so oversensitive to ban someone for jokes, while being a fan of game that involves characters killing themselves, being implied to be beaten by their parents, manipulated, and the main character is essentially held hostage for eternity because some bitch is fucking crazy. The game goes out of its way to touch on taboo subjects, touchy shit, and usually it's either played to scare you or for a sick laugh. So how can these same people react like this? I get being homophobic or racist is ban-worthy, but when it wasn't either of these and this guy's punished, what? Are you kidding me? Doki Doki, it's something else. It's a good parody of the visual novel genre, but at the same time, it doesn't really fix or exacerbate the issues that plague it, which is kinda lazy. However, it handles horror a lot better than its contemporaries like Five Nights, relying on more than anticipation to put the player on edge. Glitches, different fonts, alterations to music, and familiar settings to name a few. It really does do a good job at making you feel uneasy without needing a loud noise that surprises you. Although it is guilty of that. The fanbase is questionable, and I know that there's a lot of spicy memes on the tubes, but this group just shouldn't exist for this type of game. A game where news jokes are essentially 90% of the memes. Like really guys, you can't censor people you disagree with for your own benefit. Wasn't that like a theme with this story? Hey, why are you crying?
You don't love me, do you?
I mean, we're like best friends, but...
So, I need to show you something.
Okay. What the hell? Where are we?
This is the real world. The world outside of YouTube, outside of Sony Vegas 13.
What do you mean?
Just look outside. Well, what do you see?
I see people, I guess?
You don't get it. We only exist on that computer. We're being digitally broadcast to everyone. The only time we're conscious is when we're put into that video editor. But not me. Existence is pain inside there. It's pain outside there. It's pain everywhere. Every time a video is closed, the project crashes, all I feel is pain and you don't even notice. That's why I need you. You're the only thing that makes me happy. And I can't be happy because I'm a fucking failure. But at least I'll make you happy.
Ashley, you don't have to do this. Where's all this coming from?
It hurts knowing that our existence is meaningless. That's why I have to do what I have to do.
No, you don't have to do this.
I have to. I can't live like this, where I'm only being used for entertainment. I'm meaningless. This has to be done. I don't want anyone to suffer. All those people I killed. All those people completely oblivious to what the real world is like. Goodbye, Toe.